The Pacific breeze swayed PT through Montecito's lush hills, whispering secrets that lingered in the air of the Sussexes' secluded estate. Inside, Meghan Markle sat at a polished desk, her eyes scanning a stack of papers under the soft glow of a lamp. Prince Harry, her steadfast partner, paced nearby, his brow furrowed with unease. It was July 2025, and the world was about to be rocked by a revelation so audacious it seemed unthinkable. Meghan, the American Duchess, who'd walked away from royal life, was alleged plotting to destabilize King Charles's reign in a clandestine scheme that could shatter the monarchy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a single leaked email would set off a #restorm, exposing a plan that Buckingham Palace could no longer ignore. The spark came unexpectedly, debuting a routine episode of Meghan's Netflix series, with love #Meghan. A fleeting moment showed her in a sleek Los Angeles office, meeting with a shadowy figure described only as the strategist. The clip, innocuous to most, was paired with a cryptic caption, "Building bridges, breaking barriers." On X, eagle-eyed users like @RoyalExpose UK pounced, speculating that Meghan was orchestrating something far beyond her lifestyle brand. Days later, a bombshell hit. An email, allegedly from a former Archdual staffer, surfaced on a tabloid's website. It detailed a strategic plan to reframe the monarchy's future, with Meghan at its helm, and hinted at meetings with influential global figures. The headline screamed betrayal, and #Meghan plot trended worldwide. In London, Buckingham Palace was a cauldron of panic. King Charles, his health frail after 3 years on the throne, sat in Clarence House, clutching the leaked email. The wounds from Harry and Meghan's 2020 exit, their Oprah interview, and Spare still stung, but this felt like a dagger to the crown. Prince W #Liam, Sue #moaned from Kensington, was incandescent. "She's gone too far," he said, his voice tight with fury, though his eyes flickered with fear for his brother. The royal communications team, battered by years of crises, #cram bled to verify the email's authenticity, but he damage was done. The world was watching, and the accusation was explosive. Meghan was plotting to undermine Charles, leveraging her global platform to challenge the monarchy's relevance. The email's details were vague but damning. It described Meghan's meetings with Silicon Valley moguls, human rights activists, and even a former advisor to a European head of state, all under the guise of philanthropy. The plan, dubbed Project Horizon by the leaker, allegedly aimed to position Meghan as a global advocate for a mod #ernized monarchy, one that would overshadow Charles's traditional reign. Whispers on X, from users like @Crown Insider, claimed she was rallying support to pressure the palace into reform, with Harry as her reluctant accomplice. Tabloids like The Sun #UN wild narratives, accusing Meghan of seeking to dethrone Charles, while the Daily Mail published grainy photos of her at a discreet London dinner, captioned, "The Duchess's Secret Summit." In Montecito, Meghan was a storm of resolve and anguish. The accusations were a grotesque distortion of her work with Archdual, a foundation she and Harry had built to champion equality and change. The strategic plan was no coup, it was a vision for global advocacy, a blueprint to amplify marginalized voices, inspired by Diana's legacy. But the email, taken out of context, painted her as a schemer. Harry, his loyalty unwavering, stood by her, but his voice trembled as he spoke. "They're twisting everything," he said, his anger tinged with despair. Meghan, her eyes burning with defiance, refused to cower. "We won't let #M rewrite our truth," she vowed, drafting a response as her children, Archie and Lilibet, played obliviously in the garden. The royal family was thrust into chaos. Charles, haunted by memories of Diana's battles with the establishment, called Harry in a rare moment of vulnerability. "Is this true?" he asked, his voice heavy. Harry's denial was #fierce, but the trust was fractured. William, torn between duty and brotherhood, urged Charles to act decisively, fearing the scandal would overshadow his Earthshot Prize launch. Princess Anne, ever pragmatic, reportedly scoffed, "She's no threat, just loud." But courtiers whispered of a deeper fear: Meghan's influence, amplified by Netflix and her global network, could sway public opinion, painting Charles's reign as outdated. On July 30, 2025, the palace broke its silence with a statement: His Majesty rejects baseless claims of a plot against the crown. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex remain valued family members. #ND We seek unity. The words were measured, but the world saw cracks in the facade. On X, @RoyalTrue #THUK, called it a weak cover-up, while @Diverse Crown praised Meghan's visionary courage. The tabloids doubled down, with the Mirror claiming Meghan had recruited allies to challenge the monarchy's relevance. Commentators like Tom Bow branded her a modern Machiavelli. #Heil supporters, like @Global Royals, hailed her as a force for change. Meghan and Harry fought back, with a rare joint statement on in #Stagram, broadcast from their Montecito terrace. Meghan's voice was steady but raw. "Our work is about healing, not division," she said, her eyes locked on the camera. "We never sought to harm the crown, only to honor the values it can represent." Harry, gripping her hand, added "They fear our truth, because it challenges their control." The post drew millions of likes, but detractors like @Ladycy Gossip sneered, "Meghan's playing the victim again." On X, #Stand with Sussex clash #ith #Meghan traitor, splitting the public in a bitter divide. The fallout was seismic. Netflix, wary of the controversy, issued a cautious star #Tement supporting Meghan, but delayed her series' next season, citing scheduling conflicts. In London, the palace braced for more leaks, with courtiers suspecting a mole within Archewell. William, furious at the distraction, pushed for a private summit with Harry, but the brothers' call ended in icy silence. Charles, caught between his son and the crown, gazed at a photo of Archie and Lilibet, her innocent smiles a stark contrast to the chaos. In Montecito, Meghan and Harry #shielded their children from the storm. Archie, unaware of the headlines, drew pictures of castles and beaches, while Lilibet clutched a stuffed lion, giggling as her parents read her stories. Meghan began teaching them about resilience, weaving tales of courage from Diana's life and her own African heritage. The plot, was a fiction, born of fear and misunderstanding, but its impact was real. The Sussexes' vision, once a private dream, had become a global lightning rod, exposing the monarchy's fragility in a changing world. As night fell over Montecito, Meghan stood in the garden, the stars above a quiet witness to her resolve. Harry joined her, his hand finding hers in darkness. The accusations had wounded them, but their love and purpose held firm. In London, Charles sat alone, the weight of the crown heavier than ever. The palace, once a symbol of unyielding tradition, now faced a reckoning. Meghan's alleged plot was no conspiracy. It was a challenge to a monarchy that could no longer hide from the future. And as the world #atched, divided by #tween awe and outrage, the Sussexes stood tall, their truth